Ladies and gentlemen, good evening for another time for the Circle Jump podcast for what is the 18th of May? Possibly, yes it is. Cool. So, with that out of the way, you have been listening throughout this whole break for the music of the wonderful Bavin, despite me not being able to actually have the music being shown. And instead it actually just showed what I was listening to before. Bill Mooney is also a great artist. I do heavily suggest you to also check him out. But before any of that, remember to check out Bavin or Lachsmithen over at SoundCloud. So, with that, welcome again. It's going to be quite an explosive episode this time around, as we're going to be talking about the grenade as the very last thing, a little bit of a discussion and appreciation of the very grenade, how wonderful it is, what maybe actually could be something that could be interesting to change in some ways. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. Hopefully it's going to be interesting. Nevertheless, before I am going to be rambling way too much, we will also have of course Maku here to ramble with me.
Hi.
And also Ghost is going to also hopefully doing the very same thing.
Hi.
Not like that.
Sorry. Had to.
Touché, I must say. This is starting perfectly. I love it. So, I mean, are you having a good day, Maku?
Yeah.
Cool. And goes to you too?
Pretty hot, pretty rainy, pretty thunder day, but yes.
So pretty much the weather can't decide anything what it wants to do. Oh.
Yes, typical April weather in May always works out.
So, the Playground of the Gods actually apparently already is on the go to be a second season, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
They already playing also, you said, Marco. Actually.
Yeah. It's been going for at least like a week now.
So, yeah.
There's 48 players instead of 32.
Oh.
A lot of people have signed up. Also, there's quite a lot of good players this time. Like, most of the players are quite good.
Because Maku is this time not playing, or?
No, I am playing.
Sorry.
No, but I mean already the finals, as far as I've heard from the first season, was actually really, really good. Was also shortcasted by 7 and more.
Yeah, that was nice. Because it was like it looked like Rival was gonna win until the last sort of 2 minutes of the second map, and then he threw it, and then he lost us at the last map as well.
God damn. Well, at least it was then really exciting to watch. Except if, I mean, did he just on the third map actually throw it all the time, the whole way?
No, Brooks was just best on the on the second and third map, but like first map, I don't remember what map it was, but like Rifleman's first map, second map, he's ahead like I don't know, 12. I don't even know the number, but he's had like quite a few rounds with a couple of minutes left. I mean, he lost every round after that. And Brooks wins by 1 round, I think. It was an epic comeback, I think, if I remember correctly.
It's really good to hear. Whenever I get actually linear algebra done, I have so much stuff to catch up on in terms of tournaments to watch, both Urban Terror and also just Shoutcraft Kings. I need to just indulge in all of that at some point. Well, nevertheless, though, also I want to just mention one other thing, as ZMB actually also was writing to me right after the latest podcast, which was, of course, a whole month ago, since last time we were thinking about having one. Well, we were thinking maybe we actually didn't have the time ourselves, personally, and also, there was the exact finals of this very tournament that we were just talking about, so we have, with that, had a little bit of a hiatus. But nevertheless, ZMB though has also mentioned that they got way more than just the €100 that they were giving out the first season. So there's way more to come, like this very season, which is something really wonderful to just look forward to. Any closing thoughts before I just go on to the next thing? I'll take that.
No, let's go ahead.
Yeah, cool. So the HDdev video contest is still a thing that lurks behind the shadows. It's just like looking around the corner, being a little bit like, well, I'm gonna be here at some point. Just being a little bit embarrassed about how slowly it runs, I suppose. Well, they are finally beginning to go for the polling or going for the vote on what is actually going to be the winner of that very tournament. It's been supposed it's a tournament of sorts, but that's competition. There's in total 4 videos up for the prize, or the 4 contestants. Pistol, Ghoster, yours truly, of course, Ghoster here on the podcast, Horizon, and Samchin. And I suppose with that's actually the 4 people we were also just talking about like 1 month ago. So
exactly.
So the postponing has actually not resulted in anyone getting added to the poll. I suppose or to the pool, but I suppose then maybe they actually like listen to what we were talking about last time, which is always actually a good thing in a lot of ways.
Which is like 4 weeks ago. The thing is, well, if you wanna vote, you have to register on the page. We especially recommend not to use your ordinary passwords, as you probably always change it anyways. But apparently, they send you the plain password in the registration email. So, not sure how they store it. I would be aware of that. So just use a random password or something like that. I think it's much safer. Anyways,
That's an impossible URL to show.
Nice title now.
Thank you.
All in all, 33 days since the deadline right now. No more stuff has been added. What is kind of disappointing that no real progress has been done, except I think 2 days ago or 3 days ago, Kitech wrote something on the forum post asking what is going on. One day later, the voting process is opened. I'm not really sure what the org team kind of wants right now, as it seems a little bit clueless or planless. But
well, as far as I see, or as I understand, the winner is actually going to be chosen by public vote now.
Okay.
But
So,
the jury
no
will
jury.
still exist in the way that you will have like critique and discussion of those things. So I think they will do the voting actually have the winner based on the vote only. Maybe it's vote and jury, but then the reasons why what they're going to highlight about various videos and saying why this one is the winner and why this is so good is going to be based on what I will write and what others people will write about those very videos and in pros and cons. I think
The thing generally about these public votes is that they are public. Basically, it's not really a contest about the quality of the movie, but rather a contest of how well do I like person X.
Yeah. I was thinking the same could probably happen. Yeah?
So that's why usually a jury is much better. I think Frozen Sand had some video contest in 2013 hosted by Laser and someone else.
that.
I don't remember.
I really wanted to also join on that one.
Yeah, the thing is, back then there were also voices like, "Hey, Star of Tomorrow," or so one back then, and
was
someone
also a
said,
good video.
"Well, they are clanmates, so maybe there's some prejudice done." So basically, they just wanted to have their mate win. That was the call back then. But well, the thing is, for this contest now with a public vote. It's basically just a popularity vote where not necessarily the best video, but rather the best person, the best friend, or something else will win. Yeah, can't really say much else about it. Yeah, let's move on. Show me my video again. What the?
Why not?
Is this paid promotion?
No. To be honest, I really like the aesthetics of it. That's pretty much all.
Honestly, I haven't watched Horizon's movie yet, but Pistols is, in my opinion, really well done. I don't really like the composition of the music because it feels a little bit hacky, where there's just a cut and then a complete different music to a complete different mood, or that kind of doesn't really fit. While it has a length of like 12 minutes, which is like ridiculous. It has a lot of Nations Cup actions, so you can really see he did something. Then, well, I watched the video of Samchun like 4 weeks ago or something like that, and I even talked to Samchun. The thing is, it's a frag movie contest, and he did a jump movie. So that's something of its own. Even though jumps are allowed, well, the rules are kind of hacky anyways, and not really that well written in my opinion. So there's no real definition of what this kind of movie should define, or should contain. So, but I really like it as well. The thing is, well, frag movie contest, no frags. But other than that, visual, it's nice. The jumps are nice. The music is nice.
Let me actually.
I like it.
While you're talking about that, maybe I should just.
Sorry for don't giving you a heads up.
No, that's me just on the. I was just like, should I actually switch over? Because I mean, technically, you shouldn't just switch away from the other video immediately. But yeah, well, so yeah. But yeah, I also just like looked at this. I haven't actually like the video on 12 minutes. I haven't actually watched from start to end because I didn't find 12 minutes to actually watch all of that.
I watched it like twice or 3 times already.
Yeah,
it's really
at some
done,
point I will actually sit down to watch it because he's put a lot of work in still. So of course I'm going to watch it.
How about you, Maku? Have you watched them? Any of them?
Yeah.
Okay, that one-liner, that one word is okay.
Oh, you can do that jump?
It
Jesus
was quite
Christ.
a while ago. I don't remember them that well. I remember yours looked quite cool because you did something with the graphics that looks pretty nice.
Yay.
Yeah, well, and also like my biggest gripe that I also like talked on the podcast about, you actually like listened to that and made sure that the music actually was like flowing well.
Yeah, well, so. The thing is, for me, well, I talked a lot about how I did the effect on the last podcast, but generally for me was basically catching the mood. The scenes, the frags, the jumps are, in my opinion, not the best, at least compared to the other entries there in the contest, but I just wanted to capture this mood because basically every scene you see him sliding in, jumping in, or something like that, so it just was supposed to display the speed, the mood of just fragging, jumping in, taking the flag, going out, capping the flag, going in again, returning a flag, and so on. I hope I captured that one, but yeah. Well, let's see what the result in the end will be.
Yeah, and I will also at some point like take an evening to like watch them all and just like give proper like critique of them all, I think. At least, I mean, if that is something that HDDev at least actually wants, and I mean, if I find the time, I would certainly do want to do it because it's wonderful videos. It's always nice to actually like foster this still happening. So let's go boom, shall we? By talking about the grenade. Damn, that's a good segue, isn't it? Thank you, I know. So No, I don't know what's. Well, okay. So where was I? So yeah, with in OpenTower, there's something that you probably all have seen used, something that can get quite exciting also. Well, it is the HE grenade in and of itself. Let me actually just like update that and say HE grenade, because the smoke grenade actually is way underused. No one uses that thing.
Yeah, but you can't kill someone with a smoke grenade. What's the point?
I see the problem. So yes, the HE grenade, not that other weird guy. The guy that is cool, that does the Michael Bay shit. That guy. So with the HE grenade, there's quite a lot of interesting stuff to discuss. Mainly just like an appreciation of how it actually works in terms of gameplay. There's several interesting mechanics in terms of it, but also there's various interesting stuff that you could also that you could also like discuss in terms of how it could be changed. And yeah, 7 of 9, you're totally right. Actually, the smoke grenade is actually also dangerous because, I mean, lung cancer does kill. So
slowly.
Very slowly, yes. I mean, if you do throw and sit in a smoke grenade each and every day, right? Or actually by just passive smoking, by someone having thrown it on the map earlier, it's gonna kill you, man.
The word passive smoking. Okay.
you gotta think about the guy on Algiers, right? The guy on the blue balcony. You have thrown a smoke there like a minute ago, but there's still gotta be so much soot in the air and other stuff.
Yeah, and then
really
the pollution, right?
And he might even have to be like standing almost in that smoke too. And even if it has gone away.
What's the like fun stuff for how do you put on a gas mask?
I guess that gas mask is
fun. I'm sure there is a fun stuff for a gas mask, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, just do that.
And you could ask Baban how it feels to have one on. So, okay, so I don't know how to get this sidetracking away, but I love that we actually went there. Okay, so also actually now, yeah, we can also like watch the last video of Horizon, actually. But nevertheless, let me just do this, and let's actually go back on track. So, I'll just open up by actually saying that with the HE grenade in and of itself, the first thing I actually want to highlight is that it actually, I think it works quite uniquely compared to how grenades used are working in most other games. Mainly just because it is, oh, I didn't actually read my notes there. But yeah, because in most other games you actually always just pull the pin and you just can keep having it in your hand. Like in the one obvious one to actually compare OpenTower to is of course Counter-Strike. And in Counter-Strike you cannot actually cook the grenade, which is like one amazing things I think about the grenade right now here in OpenTower.
The thing is, in other games, well, that are getting more and more casual nowadays, Call of Duty, for example, you simply press a button and it automatically throws the grenade. Meanwhile, on Counter-Strike, you can at least take it in your hands and then
you still aim it
yourself.
and also do all sorts of fun stuff with that. Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, I mean, if you want to go on totally onto the way of how awful the grenade can be, of course Counter-Strike is like probably the worst example for that, because I mean it's still Counter-Strike is a good game for how much hate we may put on it, as being a little bit of elitist and like thinking we are so cool for playing OpenTower, but still, nevertheless, also just the cooking of the grenade, which is just also by, I mean, you can it pushes you to actually pulling the pin with care. Yes, you can cancel, but that does take time. away from you. And also it just makes for so many more actually interesting kind of decisions that you can make as a player, in my opinion. But just because like by cooking the grenade, you actually have a skill with that. It's not just like, okay, I know when I throw it, it's going to explode in 4 seconds. It's instead...
Yeah, there's also a stylish way. So you cook the grenade, you rush somewhere, you throw the grenade, and then you instantly drop the second one, and now you start shooting. Like as soon as you've thrown the grenade, you start shooting. Because you have 2, so you need to get rid of the second one.
Bug abuse.
Plus 1 for star points, plus or minus 1,000 for bug abuse.
The thing is, the way currently, or in the 4.x Urban Terror series, how the weapons are coded, that basically only the dropping animation is taking time and not the equipping. So basically, when you drop weapon just fast, for example SR8 or so, you are actually faster than switching to another weapon, which is, at least I would consider it a bug. The thing is, I don't think it was ever fixed. So I see all the high skilled players such as Maku simply shooting, then noticing, okay, I'm out of bullets, I simply drop the primary weapon and I can instantly continue shooting with a pistol.
To be honest, even if, like, say you're shooting, you're not out of ammo, but you just need to reset your spread, you drop the weapon and it's a bit quicker than
yes, that's in my opinion a huge bug and full of abuse. I don't know if that was ever addressed or so it was left intentionally in the code. But yeah, in my opinion, it's a bug. At least I wouldn't make it happen for Urban Terror 5 or Resurgence, simply because really it's just abuse and not really the way how stuff should work.
I really like it, though.
I like some bugs as well. The thing is, if they are not really intended and are not really good.
Yeah. I mean, if you can argue for the bugs to actually be interesting from a design perspective, then you could think about putting them back in. But
yes, but in my opinion, this doesn't really make sense that when you drop a weapon, you get reset your spray and can just continue playing with your secondary or pistol. In my opinion, of course, it's a bug. You can abuse it, but I don't think we will implement the exact bug in, Urban Terror 5.
I once accidentally dropped both my weapons. That was annoying.
So
yeah, I think this isn't about dropping weapons, but rather about grenades and what makes it awesome. I was talking to, well, a couple of really good players who are now retired, German players. I won't name anyone, but they are also playing Counter-Strike, for example, which well, I don't know if they like it or not. The thing is, the grenade, they prefer the Urban Terror grenade, not only because you can cook it, but because the nades can be considered OP in Urban Terror, because they do much more damage, they are much more effective. So yeah, they are like, oh, I love grenades in Urban Terror, it's really nice, and yeah, I can only agree on it. I think grenades make Urban Terror a little bit more unique and therefore more fun.
And it's really just about the cooking thing, because it's just opens for so many possibilities, in my opinion. And that also in some ways actually brings it over to what my one gripe is with the grenade in Urban Terror. Because as you're already seeing here on the video, this was my attempt of doing like a Counter-Strike-ish kind of a video with like, you can throw a grenade by just looking at the sky with this a little bit to the right and do a walking jump, kind of a thing. It was actually quite interesting to do and find all of those grenades throws, but one thing that I did realize when doing this was that the grenade is actually quite uninteresting when it comes to actually bouncing around the place. It's really interesting when it comes to cooking, and that also works really, really well for the whole thing with for just actually like the fast gameplay, because you can cook it and just throw it, and you know exactly where it's going to land, and it's going to explode exactly at the proper time, such that it can't actually react. And with that, they will also, that is a really high amount of skill that you actually need to learn with that. But like the bounciness is something, or it's just that it actually can move some way more than it actually did. That you can actually do some more interesting throws, that it actually comes around the corners, is something that I would love to see when it comes to resurgence in a lot of ways, I feel.
Yeah, just a quick note to Seven, who asked me what other bugs I would implement intentional. I know that's a little bit meant with a wink, but for example, circle jumping is originally a bug, which was then accepted by the community and then made as a feature. In Urban Terror, we have corner cut, basically where you can jump in front of a corner and then maintain the speed and basically glitching through the wall.
Oh, I like that one. That's really nice.
So I'm not sure, because that's actually unique to us, to our game, if we can really reproduce that bug and make it a feature. I would definitely love that. The thing is, I am not sure if we can actually reproduce such bug in a new engine with a whole new code. So these are considered bugs that maybe will be implemented. But yeah, back to the nades.
No, it's always good. So yeah, also Seven brings up a good point here. We should actually, why doesn't Seven just join in? Right. Well, I mean, so yeah, brings up the point that it's not really realistic that they actually bounce off walls, but who cares? It is my real thought. I mean, if it actually makes it more interesting, and it doesn't break anything compared to actually what you do now, because what you're doing right now is cooking the grenade and throwing it in one arc that actually then is always going to hit exactly where you pretty much can see the guy, or just around the corner. So you never really use the bouncing much. So with that, it's going to be, I think, a little bit more interesting actually if you could do that. And about that, because also we need to get maybe a little bit going, because Maku also got a little bit of a thing, a match to look at. I don't want to keep you going for way too long.
Yeah, well,
so
I'm gonna have to go in a bit, to play the match, the same on 7/9 streaming.
Yeah, so it goes to you gave me actually like a video.
Exclusive video, yes. Kind of. Rather work in progress. It doesn't have any animation, any sound, any explosion whatsoever, but I basically fiddled around and tried to replicate some grenade behavior that also takes the velocity and so on as input. As said, no animations, no nothing. The values aren't really tweaked, but I basically just toyed around with how it could look like to have grenades in Urban Terror 5. So I'm not sure. When I actually recorded that, I had the idea of having different types of nades as well. I mean, usually you have the stun grenade, which is like a flash grenade. Then you have an incendiary, a fire grenade, HE, explosive, and a smoke grenade. But I think when I played Star Wars Battlefront, like terrible gameplay and so on, but all in all, the graphics are beautiful. When I played it, it has, I don't really know how the name is, but it has some kind of an impact grenade, basically that explodes on an impact.
Interesting.
I actually could see that happening in Urban Terror, that you basically can hold it for like 10 seconds instead, and then when you release it, it explodes on the impact. I think some nice plays or so could happen there as well, but...
But doesn't that somewhat I'm almost going to say that sounds like a nuke grenade for the people who can't actually figure out how to actually cook a grenade.
Well, yeah, the thing with the other grenade, you can time it. You can therefore catch somebody in the air or so, while an impact grenade would just be exploding instantary. If you fail it and throw it against the door instead, through the door, you will die yourself instead. Usually when you do it with a normal HE grenade, you can still run away because, well, there's still 4 seconds or so cooldown before it explodes. I don't know. Probably I will implement it at some point in Urban Terror 5
certainly.
and test it with a QA or so to see how that works out.
I mean, it could be like the lower ceiling grenade, but that doesn't do much more interesting stuff. So you still need the other one that works as right now to like be the actual god. That could be a very interesting thought to end this on.
Yeah, well, also the bounciness shown in the video, of course, everything is there for testing. Nothing is fixed. Just trying to work out some values, seeing how it basically plays out, and then iterating from that point. So yeah, but I really like that grenades have some kind of bounciness in it. I think it also matches the wall jump mechanics of Urban Terror. So I really think that you can actually really throw grenades around the corner properly. Oh god.
Yeah, like when you try and do it in Urban Terror 4, you can't really. It doesn't work because it doesn't bounce much. You can get barely around the corner.
So just stuff like that could be really, really cool.
That would be something I would love to see, and then putting that together with the cooking of the grenade, that could just make some amazing stuff happen.
But about incendiary grenades, I think they could actually be really great for Urban Terror, because in Urban Terror you can just jump above them. So
yeah, wouldn't that be pretty much like a smoke grenade, but without you actually still being able to look over it? That's pretty much what it is, right?
Yeah, well, the smoke grenade is at least supposed to block vision.
Yeah, well, it doesn't.
Not really withheld you from walking in, or just blocking you in general. While an incendiary would just, maybe you would just fear to walk over it. I still think that an incendiary grenade could actually work out. The question then is, of course, how. We would obviously test it, but I really like the idea that you have a grenade that blocks ground movement, but encourage you to kind of jump over it. So maybe it would be useless, so values would have to be tweaked, but I really think it could work out.
Also, one thing that I always keep on advocating for is the flash grenade, because that's like a really fast-paced grenade that actually can be used both for attacking and defending in a lot of ways. So
yeah,
that one could be also really interesting to get in.
The thing is, flash grenades were there in 4.2 in some version, at least for the QA team, where they tested out how it works out. The thing is, the flash grenades didn't really work with a fast-paced gameplay, especially on CTF. Because basically the attacker were throwing flash grenades, the defenders, everyone was blind, and then 15 seconds later the same happens.
Yeah, actually that makes sense. It actually just slows it down and nothing happens. Yeah, that's interesting. Didn't think about that. I thought it actually would be better than the smoke grenade. But yeah, you're right, it actually doesn't.
So basically we have to test a lot of nades and their behavior, how it works out. I think Biddle also mentioned some kind of a mine nade, which simply you lay down on the ground, and then in case someone steps on it, he has like, I don't know, 1 second to get away, then it explodes. I'm not really sure that this would be useful for Urban Terror, and I don't. The thing is, he mentioned it, and these are all great ideas, at least nice ideas to try out. The thing is, you have to test it and then iterate.
It actually works, yeah. Well, I mean, Yeah, we got as close to this. This was way of a better topic than I actually thought. We may actually then just take a little bit more of this next time. I don't know, but well, next time get your TARDIS, get your DeLorean, or just fly at the speed of light around the sun, whatever you want to choose. We go back 16 years in time to look at 1.27 and see how far the game actually has come since then. So thank you, Maku, and so sorry for actually just going over time so very far.
No, that's fine. I don't mind if you even keep going, but I'm gonna have to leave soon.
Yeah, and thank you, Ghoster. Should we? I mean, yeah. Are we just going to close it, or just going to actually leave Maku out? Yeah, for like 4 or 5 more minutes to just close it properly, maybe with the grenades. I don't know.
I don't know. Up to you.
Okay, let's take 5 or 10 more minutes. But again, thank you so very much, Maku.
Alright, then, see you.
Thanks, Maku. Bye.
Well, now I took the outro without any good reason. And then, so that was the outro. And let's now keep going back. So, well, great. Still, hope that Maku actually gets there in time.
I'm pretty sure they would delay it for us either way, because it's such a famous and important podcast. Sorry.
Well, yeah, something like that. So, well, we would, yeah. The one thing by Biddle you said was like something like what
like
are they
a
called?
mine, yeah.
The mine. They also called something
Trip mine or something
trip
like
mine
that.
or something like that. They also called something very specifically, I think, in Call of Duty or something. But nevertheless,
The thing is, you could also have such, well, what is it, C4 on the wall, and then in case someone wall jumps there, detonates. I don't know, there's a lot regarding grenades and explosive to toy around.
could be
I'm not
interesting
really
if you
keen-
can actually trigger it yourself, similar to the to Junk. No, is he called Junkrat in Overwatch? Yeah, he's called Junkrat.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, similar to that guy. That's really fun.
So something like a proxynate where you detonate it. That could also be interesting. The thing is, one of talking about explosions. Right now, the flag explosion on Hot Potato in CTF, it just deals you damage. I actually have the plan. I don't know if it will, be later on in a version or so, but I actually plan to I'll try again. I actually plan to put something like just blow radial force on it instead of dealing damage. So the flag itself, when it explodes on Hot Potato, it doesn't deal damage, but rather knocks you back for a certain distance, which I think could be pretty neat. So
Sounds interesting.
Well, in the end, Urban Terror 5 is a huge playground where you can simply try out stuff, at least me as a developer, where you can simply try out stuff, see if it works. Maybe it doesn't, then you can simply remove it. But just to have fun and try different things, yeah, I think that's something great. And maybe have something like an April Fool's joke with that later on. That could be pretty hilarious too. I don't know.
Yeah, but
that would mean it has to be released till next April, right?
Something like the grenades being chickens all of a sudden, and they just explode in a puff.
And they run away.
They don't even explode; they just run away.
Yeah.
Even better, yeah.
Oh god. Or they are just flying randomly in the air. You throw it and they never go down, but going up, up, up. Something like that. Reversed gravity for nades. That could be really fun.
And could actually also be extremely interesting. Like inside, like you're just gonna throw it like on the ceiling. That could actually be really cool.
Yeah. Oh well, there's a lot of stuff that can be done. Right now, well, if you have noticed, there isn't really gameplay footage yet because we're still working on. Well, the basics always sounds a little bit mean after like 3 years of development. The thing is that we are all volunteers and therefore just spend our spare time on it. And usually after, I don't know, 8 or 10 hours of workday, you don't really have the mood to then spend another 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
Because at least for me as a coder, I always get in this flow where where you can't really talk to me for like 4 or 5 hours, because I really focus on getting stuff done. The thing is to actually have these 4 to 5 hours, because when you break in the middle of it and then want to resume on the next day, at least I found out that doesn't really work, at least for a volunteer project. So
yeah, I see that problem.
but hopefully we will get soon a gameplay video of the game, because it's not so far away from that. The thing is, for example, grenades, I just started to implement it. So far we only have hit cast weapons, which is basically the M4, LR, MP5 and all these weapons, also pistols.
Isn't like only the grenades that are actually like not that? Is there anything that is actually something else than that?
Well, we have the grenades. Then I think last weekend or so, I was working for like 10 or 20 hours the whole weekend. Well, probably more like 20 hours, where I implemented scopes. So basically now when you have SR8 in your hands, you can scope in it, which is pretty neat. And then there's a melee weapon, knife, katana, whatever, maybe your hamster you can hit with. So that's still up. I think I planned it out how I want to do that, but that didn't start yet. So yes, there's still much to come. Then again, maybe a rocket launcher or something like that, even though I think we should rather have grenades that don't deal damage but simply push you. Instead of something like a rocket jump, you do a grenade jump or something like that. That could be nice as well.
You still think like a grenade launcher then, right? Instead of like a rocket launcher.
Kind of.
A rocket launcher gets a little bit silly, maybe.
Yeah, just from Quake, where you can simply shoot the rocket on the ground and you get catapulted to the other side of the map. Something similar with grenades would be nice, in my opinion. But yeah, then again, that's also a type, having a rocket launcher or simply something that spawns missiles. And these missiles, I don't know, then focus at some point or on somebody, like the locked missile. I don't know if we need it. I doubt it.
Sounds yeah. Sounds interesting, but I have my doubts if it actually is going to work well.
Yeah, well, in the end, it all comes down to testing and trying different things. I'm really keen to, to actually try out different things, so it doesn't stay. Well, Urban Terror, the gameplay itself, well, apart from some stuff like power sliding and so on, and of course a couple weapons, but the original gameplay as well as the weapon loader, of course you had an LR and M4, but in the end they are kind of the same and similar. Same for the grenades. So trying new things can actually only improve the game, in my opinion, even though you then see, oh, that doesn't work out, then we simply drop it.
Doesn't matter if you have like 20 failures if you get that one gold nugget.
Yeah.
So of course just do it. Just sounds like to me at least it sounds like with like a rocket launcher. It's not doesn't completely sound like it fits the game, but it could also just like change the game into something that is even better. Yeah, that's right. Totally right.
I still doubt that we have a lighting gun or something like that at some lightning gun at some point, though.
Good.
But
thank you.
Well, maybe April Fool's Day, always welcome.
True. Okay, so let's say that was the wrap up on that. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, Wix panned it quite a bit, so
Yeah.
I think it's all right.
Yeah, you expanded really well on that. Yeah. So my only thing that I actually has on my wish list is actually just to have a little bit more of bounciness. And that is pretty much all I have, and that's all the things that I've actually said. So, yes.
Can you have more bounciness than 100%? That would be quite funny.
You can't break the laws of physics. It's a game.
Right now in the video, it had a bounciness of like 30%, I think. If you have it at like 80%, it's more like what are these balls you play in school sports,
those.
and just throw
okay, that's
them
maybe
and
a
they
little bit
bounce
ridiculous.
all the way. That's like 80%, and 100% means it doesn't lose any speed if it hits a wall. So
set it to 120.
Yes.
It gets speed when it gets.
It gets speed. Yeah, it speeds up. Oh god. Total chaos.
So, yeah. Again, just for anyone still listening, next time we are trying to do something very interesting. Well, now I don't really want to do the cool outro thing again. That's, well, nevertheless, we are going back to look at 1.2.7. We're going to try and see if we can set up a server and play it together, and just look at actually what has changed, both in terms of gameplay, graphics, everything that is. Just maybe also just with that, see a little bit of history of this game, and just maybe if that is actually ends up being a cool thing, we can also then maybe look at like 3 point something and 2 point something before at some point. I don't know.
If anyone would ever blame Urban Terror for its menu nowadays, even for 4.2 or 4.3 now, or for the upcoming Urban Terror 5, you have to play URT of 1.27, because the menu is total shit, like absolutely rubbish. So
I'm looking forward to just seeing how bad it might actually was. You've said so many things about it already as you've been like testing it out.
It's really bad. Like I haven't played it. Back then I was in like the second grade, like second grade of elementary school. So I didn't know anything about computers, about Quake, and especially not about Urban Terror. So it's also something new to me.
So I'm actually looking quite forward to that. We just have to figure out with the server thing. But you're saying that it's easy, so that should be no problem.
Yeah.
I'll just set it up and we'll get it to work. Next time will also be, for anyone interested, in 2 weeks, of course, since this is a bi-weekly podcast, meaning that this is going to be the 1st of June. Yes, the 1st of June it's going to be. Which actually also fits really amazingly with all of my exams. That's cool. Nevertheless. So, yeah. Again, thanks Maku for having been here, and also, I mean, just once again, even if you can't answer, thanks to him, and thank you Ghosto so very much for being here again.
Appreciate it.
I think everyone who listens actually appreciates you just being here. So the VODs will, as usual, be up relatively quickly on YouTube. I'll just put it up immediately right now. MP3 versions will also be in the description of said video, so you can download it, put it onto your MP3 player if you actually still got those kind of things, or your mobile phone if you are like one of those hip guys, and then listen to us on the go. Thank you for listening and have a nice evening.
Bye.